The most powerful person in the room is never the loudest one, and it's probably not who you think. They're not always the best looking, they don't talk the most, but somehow everyone turns when they speak. Their presence feels magnetic, almost unfair. But here's the truth, no one tells you. It's not magic, it's not luck, and it's definitely not something they were born with. What they've mastered is something you can learn: small shifts, quiet habits, invisible strategies that shape how people respond to you, even before you open your mouth. Let's start with the first: strategic eye contact. No, not the intense stare-down type. I'm talking about soft, deliberate, grounded eye contact. Most people break eye contact too quickly. They look away, they glance at their phone, they get nervous. But when you hold eye contact just 1 second longer, calmly, without blinking too fast, you send a very different message. It says, "I'm comfortable here. I'm not intimidated. I see you." And that does something powerful. It disarms people. It makes you feel steady, secure, and present. You become someone people want to listen to, not because you asked for attention, but because your presence earned it. Now here's the second shift: controlled stillness. Watch closely the next time you're in a group setting. Most people fidget, adjust their clothes, check their phone, tap their foot. It's nervous energy. But the person who remains still, who doesn't rush to fill every second with motion or noise, they command attention. Their stillness isn't boring. It's powerful. It feels like focus, like control, like weight. When they do move or speak, it means something. It lands harder. Try this yourself. Move 20% slower, speak 20% less, and just observe what happens. People lean in. They feel the shift, even if they don't know what changed. These are just the first two habits. They're not tricks. They're tools. And once you start using them, people won't say, "You're trying too hard." They'll say, "I don't know what it is about you, but there's something different." The third shift is one of the most overlooked and one of the most effective: answering with delay. It's simple. Someone asks you a question, and instead of responding instantly, you pause. Just 1 or 2 seconds. Not because you don't know what to say, but because you're choosing your words. That pause rewires the dynamic. It says, "I don't need to rush. I value my words. I think before I speak." And the crazy thing is, people feel it. They notice it without even realizing why. Suddenly you're not just another voice in the room. You're someone worth listening to. Now, let's talk about something subtle but powerful: cutting your sentences short, on purpose. Here's what I mean. Most people explain everything. They fill the silence. But there's real power in leaving just enough unsaid. Say something like, "I've seen what happens when people chase the wrong goals. And let's just say, I learned the hard way." Then stop. Let the silence breathe. That pause, it creates curiosity. It draws people in. Their mind has to fill the gap. Suddenly, they're not just listening to you, they're thinking about you. You become someone they remember. And before we move on, if you've made it this far, chances are this message resonates with you. So do something different today. Don't just watch, subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to this version of yourself you're becoming. And if you're really locked in, drop a word in the comments that reflects where you're at. Could be present, unshaken, rising, whatever feels true to you. Let's make this space real. Let's make it ours. Let's move into the fourth habit, and this one is all about emotional strength. It's called calm deflection. See, most people react. They get defensive. Someone throws a sarcastic comment or a passive-aggressive jab, and they fire back. But the truly grounded person? They don't react. They don't raise their voice. They meet it with calm clarity. One simple phrase, delivered with a steady tone, can flip the entire moment. Interesting. Or, that's one way to look at it. That's it. No energy wasted. No ego bruised. And the best part? Now the other person is off balance, not you. You've kept your power and they know it. And finally, the fifth shift: suggest, don't push. Influence isn't about convincing. It's about planting the right question in someone's mind and letting it grow. Instead of saying, "You should try this," say, "Have you ever thought about what would change if you did it differently?" That small reframing makes people feel like the idea is theirs, and people support what they create. It's not manipulation, it's respect. You're giving others the space to think, not just react. That's real leadership. Quiet, humble, and more effective than any hard sell. These 5 shifts might seem small, but stacked together, they're transformative. People won't be able to explain why they trust you or why they listen more when you speak, but they will, because you're not trying to prove yourself anymore. You're just being someone who doesn't need to. By the way, if any part of this made you pause and reflect, take a second now. Literally, pause the video, breathe, and comment below with one shift you'll try this week. Call it your personal challenge. Let's make this a space where we're not just consuming, we're practicing. Together. Let's bring it all together. Every one of these shifts, eye contact, stillness, delayed responses, strategic silence, calm deflection, and respectful influence, they're not loud. They don't scream for attention, but that's the point. True power doesn't need to raise its voice. It's felt, not forced. And the people who master these habits don't just walk into a room, they reshape the room. Not through dominance, but through presence, through clarity, through a kind of quiet confidence that says, "I don't need to prove anything. I already know who I am." And maybe that's where your focus should be right now. Not on becoming someone else, but becoming more of yourself, with less noise and more intention. This isn't about faking anything. It's about removing what was never really you in the first place. The need to over-explain, the rush to impress, the pressure to speak before you think, all of it, gone. So now I want to ask you something personal. Which one of these habits spoke to you the most? Share it in the comments, not just for me, but for the others here walking the same path. Someone might read your words and feel seen for the first time today. Let's keep building that. Let's make this more than just a video. Let's make it a space where we grow together. And if this message hit home, take one quiet second right now and subscribe, not just to this content, but to your own evolution. That small act of presence, it's where everything starts. Remember, you don't need to raise your volume to raise your value. The world listens differently when you speak from stillness.